Hey, what's up guys, TBL here, and we're back bringing you some classy discussion videos from E3 2015. And oh man, what a week it has been. E3 2015 is finally wrapped up, the press conferences are all over, all of the big showcases are finally done, and I'm finally going to take some time to talk about some of the things that went on. Now, you guys may have noticed over the course of this week that we've been a little lax content-wise. You know, we've had our basic live stream videos and the salty suite and all that, but I haven't really made any videos discussing E3 up to this point. And the reason for that is because I really wanted to save all of that for when the conference was finished, for when E3 itself was done. And the reason for that is simply so that I can have all of the information readily available that I want to discuss and review with you guys. And we will be discussing and reviewing all of the conferences over the next couple of videos. I'm going to have a video for each conference, basically. And I will simply take the time to give you my thoughts on everything we saw at E3. Now, I will try to keep these discussion videos within the 8 to 10 minute time frame. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. And with that being said, we will be starting things off with the Bethesda conference, which took place last Sunday, June 14th, and was arguably the best conference at the show. Seriously, Bethesda came out of the gate swinging. I mean, one of the first things they showed off was the previously announced Doom. Doom has 2 single-player demos showcasing the weapons, enemies, and executions. Bethesda also showed off a ton of the new multiplayer stuff and announced a custom game and map editor called Snap Map. I mean, pretty much everything we could have wanted them to say about Doom, they basically did. The gameplay, of course, looks fantastic. It is brutal as brutal can get. Some of those takedowns are just absolutely abhorrent. And with the Doom series, that's just the way we like it. We got a decent look at a lot of the weapons. Of course, we've got a lot of returning weapons like the chainsaw and the good old double-barreled shotgun that we like to empty out with one single shot. Lots of visceral action going on there. And, you know, while you should always take E3 showings with a bit of a grain of salt, the graphics on the game are absolutely incredible. It's a really, really good-looking game. And now, despite how much of a fan of Doom I am, we can't spend too much time talking about it because we have a lot of other things to cover. But I will say that the multiplayer co-op looks fantastic, and I can't wait to try that out. Alright, next up, we had kind of a surprise showing. Battlecry, which is like Team Fortress 3 to me, basically opened up its global beta signups and showed off a bit of the gameplay of the Han Republic faction. This is another frenetic, team-based multiplayer game that looks like it's going to be really fun. Not too much else to say about that. Again, it looks super fun. I don't know whether or not I'll be getting it. That might depend on really when the game comes out. I'll have to take a look at it and see how fun it is. But next up, Dishonored Definitive Edition was announced for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. For those of you who missed out on Dishonored the first time around, it is a fantastic game. And it being polished up for hopefully 1080p 60 FPS on the PS4 and the Xbox One will be a very good way to get familiar with the series, because the next thing we're going to talk about is another big surprise from Bethesda. Dishonored 2 was officially unveiled with a beautifully cinematic trailer. Now, Dishonored 2 is a direct sequel to the first Dishonored game where you actually get to pick your protagonist. You can play as a male character or a female character, both of which are of course from the original game. Now, the game will change a little bit based on who you pick. The character that you decide to pick basically determines what abilities and what skills you'll learn throughout the game, but seems like a pretty interesting idea, and the first Dishonored is a fantastic game again, so I'm pretty sure the Dishonored 2 is going to be pretty good. We didn't get a full release date, but we know that it will be released sometime in spring 2016 on PC, Xbox, and PS4. Can't wait for that. Overall, mostly good stuff from the Bethesda conference. I'm going to skip over some of the mobile stuff like the Elder Scrolls Legends and whatnot. But of course, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. The big announcement, or really the big showcase for the Bethesda E3 press conference was of course Fallout 4. Oh man, Fallout 4. This is one amazing looking game. Alright, now Fallout 4 by far received the most attention at the Bethesda conference, and for good reason. It is probably going to be their killer app of the year. We got ourselves a release date for later on in this year, and tons of gameplay. Now, for those of you out there who don't know, I am a big Bethesda fan. I love the Elder Scrolls franchise, and I love the Fallout franchise. New Vegas is still one of my favorite games of all time, and I have been hyped for Fallout 4 for a very long time, so the fact that we got to see tons of gameplay, which looks great in this, really tickled my fancy. But alright, let's dive on into some of the details about this game. One, character creation is of course returning. That's a big staple of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchises. Although a lot of people were concerned that you would actually have a set protagonist in this game, rather than being able to create your own. Well, those fears were very quickly put to rest in the gameplay that we saw, where one of the first things that Bethesda showed off was the character creator, so no worries on that front. Now, the character that you create is fully voice acted, which is amazing. Love that. And the game is taking place in and around Boston. But alright, let's talk a little bit about the game mechanics here. One thing Bethesda has spoken about that I've noticed too is that they've changed the way they're handling FPS. The first person shooting in this game looks like it's going to be way better than Fallout 3. Which, believe me, is definitely a good thing. The shooting in Fallout 3 was a little meh. But in Fallout 4, the VaultTec Assisted Targeting System, or VATS, makes a return. This system is basically bullet time for those of you who've never really played a Fallout game. It allows you to take precision shots at body parts and whatnot. Really cool system. But this time around, it looks like it's been enhanced with a couple of extra features. Definitely looking forward to exploring that a little bit more. Some of the takedowns in this look like they're going to be absolutely brutal too. And now another big change is of course your companion. You're going to be getting Call of Duty Dog. Remember him from Ghosts? Well, he survived the apocalypse and is making an appearance here in Fallout 4. You can issue him commands and have him run forward and attack stuff or retrieve things for you. It's a pretty interesting system that I thought looked like it's going to be implemented pretty well. I'm really hoping that it's a feature that'll be useful, all game long, and not something that I'm going to make use of for maybe the first hour and a half and then really never use the dog again. But alright, another big thing that I was very surprised and very pleased with is the city building. This is a new feature for the Fallout franchise, but basically you can build your own cities and your own home bases and forts and whatnot. It's a pretty cool feature. Now in Fallout 4, you'll be able to rebuild settlements around the map. You can do this by collecting building parts and destroying old buildings that you don't really need anymore. You can salvage those old construction parts and build anything from houses for your companions and your friends, to bars, to shops, to really anything you need. And it's cool, it kind of embodies the whole if you build it, they will come thing, because as you build settlements, NPCs will come from the world and really start to populate those settlements. Oh, and when I say NPCs, I mean the good and the bad. You'll have people who come in and settle in your village, and you'll also have people who come to attack it, raiders and whatnot, so you'll need to build defenses all around it, and it's just a really cool looking system. I might get lost doing just that whenever I play the game. What else? Item crafting is of course a thing. Just like you can build buildings, you can build items for your weapons and for your armor and whatnot. You can build tools, weapons, weapon attachments, and all sorts of things. Bethesda has claimed that there are roughly 50 base weapons in the game and over 700 mods that can be used to change those weapons. So you will definitely be busy on the crafting front. And speaking of mods, we got some very interesting news concerning mods for Fallout 4 and how they can be implemented into not only the PC version of the game, but also some console versions too. Now again, for those of you who don't know, Bethesda is a very player mod friendly company. Generally with their big games, they release a creation kit that allows you to create mods for their games. Skyrim got one, Oblivion got one, Morrowind got one, Fallout games get one, and Fallout 4 will be getting one too. Now the big change here is that some mods will be available to be transferred over to the Xbox One version of the game. This is pretty much the first time I think I can ever think of a company allowing a console version of a game to get player created mods. Super excited about that. All you X-Bros out there can finally join the wonderful world of Bethesda game modding. But of course things will be a little bit more restricted than they are on PC. Bethesda will be curating the mods that go onto the console side, so you're not going to see too many game-breaking things, but it should still be a fun experience, and I'm definitely psyched about that. We need to get more PC-based modding onto consoles. And overall, Fallout 4 just looks like it's going to be an amazing experience. The game looks great. It looks like it's going to play great. The changes to the FPS system really appeal to me. You guys know I'm a pretty big FPS fan. And the sheer amount of customization, whether it's, your armor, your weapons, creating cities, the way you can customize your character, all of that I know is going to keep me hooked for the long haul. Seriously, I just cannot wait to play this game. And I'm not going to have to wait too long because we did, of course, get a release date, November 10th, 2015. Hope you guys are ready for the apocalypse. But alright, we're approaching the 9.5 minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Again, I didn't really want to go too far over 10 minutes. Don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, but that's a really quick wrap up of the Bethesda E3 press conference. They showed off a ton of great stuff, and I cannot wait for most of their games to come out. Between Doom, Fallout 4, and Elder Scrolls Online, I know what I'm going to be playing from Bethesda now and in the future. But alright, that is going to be it for this Bethesda Conference E3 wrap-up video sort of discussion review kind of thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and please feel free to leave me your thoughts and comments about E3 as a whole in the comment section below. Is there anything coming from Bethesda that you guys would like to see? Make sure to let me know. And we will be continuing with these video conference recaps. We're going to start up next on the Microsoft E3 press conference. That's going to be a good one. But alright, if you guys like what you saw here, do feel free to check out my channel where you can find a ton more gaming videos coming out soon. Anyways, it's going to be it for this one. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.